Do you know where to hit this third shot?
CJ, when we asked the question of our community about this, I did not expect the number of responses. I'm so happy that they did, though.
If you haven't seen the original videos, the question and the answer video, we got you covered. It's at the end of a very quick survey. Click the link down below in the show notes. If you have already seen those videos, stay tuned because we have a few comments on the comments that you made. Congratulations to those of you who went through the process, who listened to the question video and then formulated an answer before putting your answer in the comments. It's the process that's so important to your learning.
Sometimes, CJ, we want to get to the answer. So, this is set up. And if you haven't seen it yet, highly recommend you click on the link and do the process. It'll really help you out. But, it's set up as a question and answer. So you get the question video, struggle with it a little bit before you watch the answer video, because the answer video, getting the answer isn't the key here. The key is the thought process.
It's the thought process that you can take out onto the court with you the next time. So if you learn how to think, that's where you're going to see improvement in the strategies that you use on the courts, and that the shots you plan accordingly.
Yeah, definitely going through the process is so important. And listen, a lot of the answers that we got in the comment section or in the comments underneath the videos did not correlate exactly with our recommended shot selection, what we would consider the optimal shot selection. A lot of times, CJ, that's and there's nothing wrong with it. It's we come in with preconceptions, and it's good to explore those preconceptions to see if they're the best way to play.
And Tony, I think by looking at some of those answers, it's easy to understand where some of those preconceptions come from. If you look at YouTube and you were just to put in third shot in the search, you're going to get a variety of mostly how-to videos. How do I hit this shot versus where do I put this shot? So I think a lot of that adds to some of those preconceptions or those bias that we bring when we're working through those types of exercises.
Yeah, absolutely. The amount of noise that's out there in YouTube videos, and it's hard to figure out which one is the right one in a given situation. And so, that's something that I know we're going to talk about it in a minute in terms of framework, but that is so important. And the same thing with, in-person instruction. A lot of times the instructor is focused on the mechanics, the technique of the shot, which makes sense. You need that, right? But part of the bigger picture is what shot to hit when, what we call the strategic pillar.
When you have an instructor and you're on court with someone, very rarely does the conversation turn to, when do I use this shot? We're so focused on the mechanics and we're tied up and I think almost bound by the mechanics that we think of that first instead of in an order that we think will be more helpful to you and help you to play your best.
CJ, I know in a minute we're going to do the point breakdown to show how the A, B, C, D, E, where to hit the third shot applies in a real game situation. But let's complete the cycle here, or the thought process on this mechanical piece that you mentioned. And I think that the issue there is that players are stymied in their advancement because they don't have a clear understanding of framework of the game.
Exactly. I think that, and I'm going to pull up this slide because this shows how we think about the game and the way we teach inside of the pickleball system. When players are approaching learning pickleball, when they're trying to learn pickleball, we're most often consumed by the shots first. So we're thinking shots. How do I do this? How do I hit this particular shot? Some players then start to advance to strategy at some point in time, but having the shots or the strategy without understanding what is the framework of the game, which dictates what the objectives of the game are you don't have the full picture. You don't know what shot to hit when. And if you don't understand the full picture, it's difficult to execute in real time.
Absolutely, CJ. And an example of that is, this maxim that we always hear, forehand in the middle. Forehand in the middle is one of those things that players they say it a lot and they lean on it a lot, but it's really not a good premise. If you understand the framework, objectives, strategy, and shots, then you're able to challenge that notion, that preconception that we talked about, and advance your game.
So Tony, why don't we use a point breakdown to illustrate these concepts?
Point breakdown, CJ, that's like candy to my ears. So What we're gonna do here is I'm gonna pull up this rally. This is a rally at the gold medal match at the Senior Pro Mixed division of the PPA Lake Nona, the Hertz Championship. You can see it was like in the middle of the night. It looks like it was late in the day. Everybody was done. We got to play on the center court, which was kind of neat. So you'll see I'm there on the right side of the screen with a pink bandana on, my trademark pink bandana. Don't copy it, anybody. And Leslie Bernard, my partner, is getting ready to serve. And our opponents, Dave and Sehan, are on the left side of the court. And what you're going to see as I run through this is you're going to see a short return of serve hit in this case. And I'm going to stop it there. And then I'm going to go through and show you what the shot options are and what the best option is here. So as we run through this, we'll see the serve get executed. It's a good deep serve, pushes Sehan back. I'm going to stop it here. And you can see that Sehan has not made it up to the non-volley zone line, which is the exact same scenario that we had in the ABCDE. The only difference here, folks, is the left to right is different, but that's life sometimes. And we do have to deal with left to right in pickleball. So we'll deal with that here as well. So the question here is, where should I hit this ball? Should I hit the ball to positions A, B, C, D, or E? And again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back, not go back, click on the link below, take the survey, watch those 2 videos, and then you're going to come back and watch this whole video again, and it'll all gel beautifully for you. But basically the idea is, should I hit it to Dave, who's up, or to Sehan, who's moving up? The optimal answer is we hit it to the player who has not made it up. In this case, Sehan, who's in the transition zone. So you'll see I hit a drive towards her there as she's moving. She ends up hitting the ball wide, and we end up winning the rally. So it's a really effective technique that you can use if you understand the framework, objectives, strategy, and shots.
So, Tony, if you had hit the third shot based on the preconceived notion that many players have, that traditional third shot drop, Sehan would have come up to the non-volley zone and you would have missed that opportunity.
Absolutely, CJ. And this is why understanding framework and objectives is so important, because I have a clear understanding of positional advantage and disadvantage. If I can keep Sehan in a positional disadvantage, I'm going to do that, and that's going to give me and Leslie an easier opportunity to score the point.
And I think that's one of the things we sometimes get from players is, well, teach me this strategy or teach me that strategy. And that's not the most effective approach. You need to understand these objectives in order to formulate your strategy. And I think that also speaks to like clearing the mind, to being able to see what's going on the court, right, Tony?
Absolutely. And if you want to really grow as a pickleball player, if you're intent on like really understanding pickleball, the framework is just so important. And like I just referred to positional advantage, disadvantage, that is Greek to most players. If you're Greek, it's maybe you understand it, but it's Greek to most players. And if you don't really understand those, it's very difficult to advance. I cannot recommend enough the pickleball system to you if it's something that you want to grow and learn about pickleball.
So go on back, take the survey, look at the question and the answer videos again, work your way through it. Remember, that's part of the learning process. Now you've got a few more insights into why maybe you chose some of the shots that you chose, and perhaps you will find a more optimal shot.